We are in the municipality of San Carlos, in the village of Valajuelos, in the cultivation of cocoa. This species is called C51. We are just in production. We have more or less 2 years of having planted it. We are very happy to know that everyone is going to realize what we are doing in San Carlos. A production that has been very good. The best that San Carlos has had at this time. For the welfare of the farmer. Well, I became interested in farming 10 years ago when I came to San Carlos. I liked the countryside, then I started to grow cocoa. I started planting cocoa. I started planting the first saplings. And I started to process it to sell it already processed. I don't sell it as a fruit but processed. Ready to make chocolate. Here in San Carlos, I became friends with several agronomists such as Mr. Carlos Zuluaga, who taught me a lot about this because I did not know how to produce cocoa. I did not know, but with him I learned and I started to like it. So I planted this crop. And that's where I'm going with this. At the moment there are 10 families involved. One of the largest producers from whom I buy the production is my family. They are working in a clean and organic way the production and cultivation of cocoa. And we are also in the process of training in good agricultural practices. This will guarantee traceability, which allows us to show people that we are doing well the process from the cultivation. Because the concept that Chocafruit wants to handle is the crushing, which is a new concept that is being handled, which is from the tree to the bar. With this process with them we are guaranteeing that we are complying with what we are offering. Chocafruit is a green business in the municipality of San Carlos, which is dedicated to the production, processing and marketing of cocoa-based products. Which makes it a green business is the use and clean production of this cocoa, and in turn the production of other processed products such as artisan chocolate or confectionery that have no additives, and in addition to this the use of organic waste generated in the production processes, to transform them into organic fertilizer. Another of Chocafruit's characteristics is that it links different producers in the municipality to whom it buys raw materials, thus enabling a commercial linkage between the different producers. Small producers in the municipality. This one, for example, is ready for processing. It splits. This is the fruit, this is it. It is taken and this fruit is always placed in a wooden box to put it to vinegar so that it gives good aroma. Because in other things if you put it in a basket or something like that, it does not give good flavor. It should always be in a wooden box. Do you want to taste it? It tastes very good. As the intention is always to have a clean agriculture, the Green Business Program arrived, and then we joined this program, because it seems to us the most interesting, most appropriate way to contribute to nature. Also now, with all the climate change that there is, as long as man makes the least impact on nature, that will help, and the seal of green business, or the characteristic of a green business, is precisely that. It is like the balance between what is industry and nature, and now even more from the process of planting, we are applying these concepts from planting, so we are a green business. From Cornair, we accompany green businesses through a verification process that directs the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development. This verification process gives us a percentage of compliance, and depending on the percentage of compliance, we design an improvement plan tailored for each business. In the case of Chocofruit, the improvement plan is aimed at developing new products, to optimize or improve production processes, and to promote the initiative at events or other commercial spaces. For example, this cocoa has been a cocoa that we are striving to make the best with organic fertilizers. We will see how it will give us with organic fertilizers, because this is new. Here, for example, organic fertilizers have been recently introduced. If we take care of the environment, we take care of the planet, it will give us more and cleaner production, at least for those who consume them, they will be healthier. Because if we take care of the planet, the health of the inhabitants of the world will be better. Here I am looking for the ears that are ready to be picked. They are the ones with the yellow line. I am about to arrive to the place of one of them that has its yellow line, which is ready to be picked, which is this one. You should always choose it by cutting it with a scissors on the ear's radar so that it is not damaged, so that it does not give any disease to the tree. Look, this is the yellow line, this is the one that is ready to pick. These are all purple. Those do not take off from the ear. The organic cultivation has something very wonderful, that although at the beginning the production is very low, the peak of it is almost at the end of the productive stage of the trees. In addition to the conservation of the soil guarantees that we can make new sowings again and transform the crops again. What the production with chemicals makes the land where, because chlorine and other metals are accumulated in the soil, which does not leave that later we can enjoy to be able to have harvest of any crop that we do. A good quality cocoa with good production would be more or less between 25 and 30 degrees Celsius. The sowing is done when one clones it. Around 60 days later, one sows it, and then more or less between 18 and 24 months later the production begins. All the harvests in the year are around 2 harvests, which is usually one in May, the other between July and August, and the other in December. There are around 3 harvests that are more or less good. This cocoa is barely 24 months old. Production is just beginning, and the most that has been harvested compared to the past is about 30 to 35 kilos. but as this is always happening, every 15 days one comes and finds small cocoa pods, of 2.3 kilos, 4 kilos, every 15 days. At this moment they are harvesting about 2 kilos every 2 weeks. The most essential thing in the fermentation, which is 5 days of fermentation, because if you ferment it well, it gives very good aroma, very good flavor. The truth is that if there are people who do not want to change the idea of a traditional crop to an organic crop, they will be doing clean agricultural practices above all. But if we do not begin to clean the land from the beginning, to begin to use less agrochemicals on the crops, we will never have a certification of organic farming. Besides the fact that cattle ranching is used a lot here, it is one of the potentials of the municipality, and makes them fumigate a lot the paddocks, then start a chain of awareness of the people, so that the less they use these agrochemicals, the less they will affect the crops, no matter if it is cocoa or other agricultural products. In any agricultural product it happens the same way. We are in the cocoa processing plant. We are in the raw material area. This is where we store the cocoa that is brought to us from different parts of the municipality. Today we received cocoa from the village of Samuma. Then we are going to proceed to put it in the bins where we store it. This cocoa is an organic cocoa, which we try to store as well as possible to protect it from humidity. Because here in San Carlos the relative humidity is very high, so we are measuring the environmental factors, to ensure that the product is well preserved. Well, after receiving the cocoa, we start the weighing and roasting process. I am going to call one of the guys, who is the one who helps me with this process to start the weighing process. Santiago. Well, Santiago is going to weigh us 10 kilos of cocoa, because that is the volume that the machine can hold. Most of the families were displaced in 2002 or so, where only a third of the population remained, the rest were displaced. Then almost all the families to whom we buy the cocoa production, are returned families of the municipality that were displaced by the violence at that time, and we were all victims. Because I am one too, I had to be displaced from the municipality. So it is like being able to contribute something and do something social, because the idea is not only that my family will benefit, but as the company grows and we can link more families in the area and thus ensure quality employment, which is what all the municipalities of Antioquia need. Well, once the cocoa has been weighed, we move on to the roasting process, where we will empty the cocoa into the machine to begin the process. The story begins in 2018, after a training process, where we were taught how to transform cocoa and motivated me to start the company. The fact that my family is a cocoa grower, they all have crops and they paid a very little price for that cocoa. My motivation to start transforming was to begin to give added value to cocoa and to acquire a better price for cocoa as such. After having the cocoa ready and weighed, we will proceed to roast the cocoa. What do we do in this process? To make the cocoa take more aroma and flavor, We here in the company are implementing a medium roasting so that the aroma and flavor of cocoa is more fruity. We proceed to pour the cocoa into the dehulling machine. By not adding agrochemicals to the product, we can guarantee less cadmium accumulation in the cocoa. Cadmium is one of the biggest problems for the export of cocoa. And we also contribute to the flavor and aroma, because cocoa, chocolate is a hygroscopic crop. It takes from nature all the smells and flavors that exist. As the crop is cleaner, we can guarantee that the chocolates will be of better quality. After the dehulling process, after several passes to make the nibs as clean as possible, we proceed to the production area. Already at this moment, here comes the production process, and here we have a place where we have it to store it. After we do all this process, we weigh it again and take it to the refining machine. Then we had already started a production process, so we cannot throw the nibs at this time to the machine. But I will put the machine to work so you can see how it works. The machine starts the refining process. We wait for it to finish by itself during the 36 hours to be able to empty it. Then we will move to an area where we will refine it from the beginning, in a smaller machine. The refining process takes more or less 3 days, so that the chocolate takes the right microns. The microns of chocolate to feel smooth in the mouth is between 18 to 20 microns. Then we start this process, and after 3 days we will obtain this quality in the chocolate. As I explained before, we already had an advanced process, but here we have a machine of a smaller size where we can see how the cocoa refining process starts. We proceed to turn on the machine and start pouring the cocoa little by little. This process is very slow, that's why we started the process before in the big machine. Because in the big machine it takes us a day just pouring the cocoa nibs. So in this machine we do it in a faster way because the volume is smaller. We keep pouring. As the machine grinds the cocoa, we pour a little at a time. Because the problem is that if the cocoa is poured in large quantities, as it begins to become viscous and dense, the machine can stick and it would not work well. The process would stop, so the process is so slow. That is why chocolate is a very delicate process to make, because it has to be slow from the beginning. Time, not only in the roasting and shelling process, but also in the process of beginning to refine it so that it has the right microns, so that it is smoother on the palate. Only for the sweet sugar you have to be a little more patient when adding the sugars, because while the chocolate is taking the texture of the sugar and there are sugars that come very wet, if the sugar has high water content it can affect the chocolate. Hence the importance of adding sugar little by little, to watch and manage the evaporation of the water that brings the sugar. From there we go to the tempering machine, and with our cocoa we make the emptying of the big machine and we have that liquid left, and then we go here. What is the idea with the tempering? The tempering is the one that gives the shiny color to the chocolate. It makes the chocolate silkier, softer, and at the moment of giving it the cold shock, it is one of the characteristics of chocolate. First we raise the temperature to 50 degrees, the idea is that we leave the heat. At this moment we turn off the heat and it begins to lower the temperature, and here we can turn on the refrigerator, which is the one that will give us the chocolate. Is going to give the chocolate cold, it already starts to load and begins to cool. Here in the company we have different presentations. We have 100% chocolate, which is the traditional table chocolate. We have 70% chocolate for those who do not like sugar, and we have sweetened with stevia for diabetics. In addition to our sweet chocolates, which we handle with coffee beans, with chia seeds, with nuts, which we make as they are requested by our customers. Because as our chocolates have no preservatives, we make this type of chocolates on request, in addition to filled chocolates, which we fill with fruits of the area. We really like the filling of Araza and Jamaica flour. There are also other local fruits such as guava and borojo that we have also implemented in our fillings. We use them as people ask for them as well as the products. It makes me feel proud after living in the city for so long, to come to the countryside, and I am happy in the countryside. I am happy here. It seems to me like your paradise. I live happily, especially with my cocoa crop that I manage. I live very aware of this. I love it. My dream and my goal, or let's say my goal, is to export, that the cocoa of San Carlos is known in the world, that we are not only known for a town that suffered a lot of violence, but that we have quality products that deserve to be known and consumed by the whole world. I would tell people who live in the city to come to the countryside, because here you live with half of what you earn in the city, you live with half. The invitation to all the people is to come to the municipality. It is a very beautiful municipality, not only for the agricultural developments that we are having now, but for the tourist potential that they have, and when they come they look for us and come and taste our chocolate. We are practicing different coughs so that people learn to differentiate the chocolates for its flavor and aroma, so that they learn to taste a good chocolate, so that they know us and fall in love with us and our municipality and our product. Finally, we would like to invite you to get to know the different products of all the green businesses that we have in the municipalities of Eastern Antioquia and in San Carlos, to get to know these products of Chocofruit, which is one of our references in the municipality.